Brian's gaze furrowed as he looked at the young woman in front of him. Her small frame was in stark contrast with Brian's hefty figure. Despite that, her emerald eyes had a vicious streak that overwhelmed her otherwise fine appearance. Brian paused about 20 paces before the door. He wasn't a superstitious man, but her warning was somehow convincing enough to stall him. The spooky atmosphere of the forest he found himself in didn't help either. Each gnarled tree and haunting howl made the tension in his neck grow ever stiffer. "Well, what's behind the door?" Brian grumbled. The woman looked at him. "Like I said, something so good you'll want to stay." "Well, come on, that's hardly specific." "Listen, big guy, if you had as much brains as you did brawn, you would have turned around by now." Brian let go of the slight, deciding instead to stay on target. "Okay, sure, but if I don't have brains, then you really ought to be extra thorough in explaining it to me." The woman's lips curled in annoyance. "Why waste my time explaining it to an idiot?" Brian smirked. He was committed to seeing this through. "Well, it looks like you've got nothing but time. I've been scoping this door out for a while now. Deathstrand Forest is hardly a tourist spot, but you always seem to be right by that door." The woman seemed more annoyed. "You know what? Go ahead. Walk through the door." "But why would I do that without knowing what's behind it?" Brian smirked as his tone turned mocking. "Walk through the door or don't. Just stop talking." "What happens if I break the door?" "Do not break the door." The woman's face turned from annoyed to panicked. "Well, you won't tell me what's inside. How else am I supposed to know?" "I'd say you were as dense as a rock, but that would be a discredit to stones everywhere." Brian strolled off the dirt path a step or two and picked up a rock. The gnarled bark faces of the trees seemed to grow more menacing by the second, but he continued, laughing as he did. "I think this rock will do. Like you said, the rock is smarter. Maybe it'll come back." The woman let out a guttural growl. "Do not throw that rock." "Far be it from me to start breaking your door. Just tell me what's behind it." Brian had never seen a woman look so incensed. With all the charm of a yapping chihuahua, the woman hurled insults at Brian. "If you throw that damned rock, I'm going to throw your damned head in that damned door after I've ripped it off of your Neanderthal body." Brian stuck a hand on his chin. I guess I wouldn't want that. Besides, it would take a while to bash it open with rocks. I think I'm just going to burn it open." Fear flashed across the woman's eyes. "Wait, no. Don't do that." "Why not?" "Just don't." Brian started collecting firewood. With each branch he collected, he taunted the disgruntled woman, singing why as he went. With each why, she responded essentially the same way as before. There was no reason given, just an angry plea to stop. In a few hours' time, Brian had a stack of dry branches even heftier than he was. Brian's mocking tone turned serious as he calmly explained what he was about to do. "Hey, listen, I've noticed you haven't moved from that spot. I don't really feel like getting my stupid head ripped off, so I'm not going near you. That being said, I'm about to start tossing burning branches over there, so you would be smart to move." The woman started howling as foam streamed down her mouth and splashed her now bloodshot eyes. There were no more words. Instead, she devolved into some angry shell of a person that was more beast than man. At this sight, Brian pulled out his flint and steel as he began to light his bonfire. When things really started cooking, he tossed burning branches at the door one at a time. The woman jumped on each one with vicious fury, throwing them back as she did. Brian may have been husky, but he was quick. Each thrown branch moved with preternatural speed, but after the first few branches had been thrown, he erected a makeshift barrier with his remaining wood and some stones. With desperate gusto, he continued his work, and threw burning branch after burning branch at the door. It went on this way well into the night. By morning, his wood had been long exhausted. The woman's hands were charred, and she was breathing heavily as she tore through Brian with hell-filled eyes. Brian stared back and knew no human could have survived what she miraculously had. Brian looked at the woman with one last smirk. Man, this place sucks. Maybe I should walk through the door. The woman looked at him aghast. I hate you. Then Brian strolled leisurely away. Whatever was behind that door was surely as unorthodox as the woman that guarded it, and that was a danger he had decided to let go of. Besides, whatever was behind the door could never measure up to what might be behind it. Every once in a while, it's better not to know. Thanks everybody for listening, and thank you to our artist Kozane who provided the artwork for this video. I hope you all have a good one.